It's really just, like we said, it's defining the direction of the bass line, but the chords that are actually going on here, they're really pretty simple. I mean, we just have B major, C sharp minor, so it's the 1, 2, this is basically the 1 again, just with the 3rd in the bass, minor 6, this is pretty much the 5, but we're just putting the 3rd of that chord in the bass, and, you know, minor 3, 4, so it's very diatonic in the sense that it's just kind of using... So there's not really anything, you know, out of the ordinary. And it's not until we get further into the tune that we start deviating from it in, to be honest, kind of quite unexpected ways. And in this particular moment, the rhythm and the harmony kind of like come out of nowhere, because we have... And that took me, I was like, what is even going on there? What's actually happening is it's not really changing at all. The accents are changing because I guess there was a particular line to get to the next place. It's 4/4. I wrote it here, as you can see. I put a measure of 3/4 and a measure of 5/4, which obviously equals still 8. It makes it a little cleaner, a little easier to look at and read. So then all of a sudden we're in the key of C for about 4 bars. Oh, now we're setting up for a totally different key. Now we're in the key of A. But again, we're sticking to the slash chord concept because we have the 3rd of A in the bass, that's C sharp. Not staying there for very long at all. Now we move to the key of D flat. And now all of a sudden we're getting away from D flat because we've changed what would be the 1 chord, we've made it a sus chord. And that kind of indicates, okay, we're going somewhere else, and then we jump over to another sus chord to set up the top again. And again, this is the same type of thing where there's not really like a definitive ending. It's clearly, when you get to the bottom of the form, it's just setting up the top of the form again. So if you were gonna end this tune, it's kind of like, well, where would you do it? I don't really know, but it loops itself extremely well. And what an interesting creative sequence of key changes. So let's move on. The other one that we're gonna do is the Wii shop music. So we got a little bossa thing going on. It's really nice. This to me is like perhaps the one that sounds the most like it could just be a jazz standard. It just sounds really great on its own. Yeah, let's play some of this. Why can't it just sound like that? Okay, yesterday Harry Styles released a new music video called Watermelon Sugar, and today it has, let's see, 12.5 million views. I mean, that's incredible. I can't do that. See, but I can't help but just notice a couple of things. Now, as you may have gathered in my last video, I am not in the business of tearing down music that probably a lot of people like. I mean, that I don't even necessarily dislike. I think a few of you said on my last video, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I might be a little more than disappointed here. I don't understand why things continue to get made that don't make sense, that blatantly just don't really sound that good. But it's almost like we just say, well, we're close to the deadline, it'll work, it'll be fine. I don't know, maybe that's exactly what happens. Is it really that much just purely about money? I would like to think, you know, it's probably a huge part of it, but maybe not all of it. And here's the thing, I'm not ragging on Harry Styles here, because there's plenty of talent there, and plenty of music that does sound good.
Don't call me baby, you got your reasons. I know that you're trying to be friends, I know you mean it.
That's why it leaves me so frustrated when I hear things like this. Let me explain. So this song is pretty standard. I mean, it leaves you a little bit going, for somebody that has had so much success with One Direction and just as himself and as an actor, and Dunkirk was phenomenal, it leaves you just kind of wondering, why make something, how do I say this without sounding too harsh? So musically useless. No, I did it. I sounded too harsh. I'm sorry. But like, you're just kind of wondering, why make something, how do I say this without sounding too harsh? So musically useless. No, I did it. I sounded too harsh. I'm sorry. But like, this is a person that could literally do anything he wants. He could explore all kinds of different genres and people are gonna check it out. Maybe not 12.5 million overnight, but probably a lot of people would be interested in any musical endeavor he wants to pursue. This song starts out pretty expectedly. It's pretty much par for the course. And a lot of people love that sound. And you know what? I don't necessarily dislike it. It's not necessarily my bag, but hey, there's some great pop songs out there.
Tastes like strawberries on a summer evening.
By the way, I don't get into lyrics because I'm not a poet. I don't know how to write lyrics. I have no authority to talk about lyrics, but watermelon on the table tastes like strawberry. Okay.
I want more berries and that summer feeling. It's so wonderful and warm.
All right, so, you know, pretty simple. So it's in C, right? The song is in C. We start on the 4, and we go up to the minor 6. And it sounded like it's the 1 chord, but I think it was the 5 in the bass, and then to the actual 5. something like that, I think. So far, not bad, all right, you know? I just already get the vibe that this is a totally fabricated, this was going to be the summer hit as we enter, you know, we're approaching the end of May, June 21st, first day of summer. We gotta have a summer hit, right? I mean, what's summer 2020 without a summer, a good summer hit? Quarantine, I guess.
Breathe me in, breathe me out.
This is,
Breathe me out.
this is where I start to have an issue. Okay, so we're constantly coming back to this ninth as a melody note, okay? Now, the problem I have with it is this melody just feels like somebody came up to Harry with a hat and written on little pieces of paper in the hat are the notes of the major scale, and they just said, hey, Harry, pick 5. Okay. I don't know. Here. Okay, sounds good. Do we have an order for this? No? Order doesn't matter? Got it. All right. There's your melody. Boom. Done. The whole thing. That's it. Because this melody just feels like you could just pluck random notes from the C major scale and okay, here we go. Well, we're just gonna keep using this ninth as a motif. But the problem is like half of the lines in here just, they don't make sense. And this is another thing, we talked about this in the last video where it's like, is it technically correct? I mean, sure, in that the notes are not necessarily outside of the notes that will work with the chords you're using, but are they maybe in sequence, or I don't know how else to put that, but basically in such an order so as to make a melody that is not completely devoid of definition. And that's sometimes the problem with melodies like this, is that they're absolutely not memorable in any way, shape, or form. Again, nothing fundamentally wrong. Are they particularly good choices? Not really. I mean, we're going from the third to the second or the ninth, and then we land on the sixth. Fine, no, nothing wrong with that. This is the line that I probably have the biggest issue with, because that F just doesn't sound like it fits there. It doesn't sound wrong because it's technically not really wrong. It just doesn't really serve any purpose. It doesn't lead us anywhere. It gives us no information. It's just kind of there. It's the movement from F to A minor, because we're going. It's not so defined as to say it's wrong because this note is wrong and that note is wrong. Because like I said, I mean, do all the notes fit in the chords that they're supposed to be in? Yeah, but do they sound good in sequence? No.
I don't know if I could ever go without.
There's something missing with it that's making it not work to me. So the obvious reason that it sticks out as being like kind of not a great melody note choice there is because you have this C major chord.